Today on the channel, we're leaving classified to check in on part 3 of the Silent Warrior series. Today we've got City Strike Snake Eyes from Pursuit of Cobra on Way I Got It Figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up out there, figure fans? Way I Got It Figured, the sheriff back with another G.I. Joe review. This time we're looking at 2011's Pursuit of Cobra Snake Eyes version 48. I got this figure from my buddy Phil over at Crossfire Collectibles, where you can see he's killing it with the FSS figures and everything like that. Sort of his specialty. I'm more of a real American hero guy, although I did get several of these figures, but this was one that I never got around to getting. It was very hard to come by, and so Phil had a spare one, albeit not 100% complete. There's a couple of accessories that are missing, and I'll show you what those accessories are since I'm reviewing an incomplete figure. But most of it's here, and I will eventually acquire those extra pieces. But for now, we're gonna get into Pursuit of Cobra City Strike Snake Eyes. So of course, here he is on his 2011 style figure stand, which is a virtual requirement to get him to stand up anyway. He doesn't really want to stand. The figure's not loose or anything like that. It's barely handled. But the appeal of this figure for me always was that he was a ninja and a commando, but he was more going a little bit more commando, yet retaining the ninja elements. I always sort of liked when he went back, anytime they would go back to the classic style mask. And I like that he's not wearing all black, although, you know, obviously he can be wearing all black. It's Snake Eyes, who he can wear whatever he wants. Who's gonna stop him? And the articulation, of course, is indicative of figures of that time period. So sorry about the stand there. So you do get quite a bit of articulation. You can splay the arms out. Superior to a T-pose on a lot of figures now. You get the wrist swivel. You get the elbows to about here. The head's on a ball joint, but you don't really get much, but you do get a little bit of up and down. He does have a kind of a proto waist, so there's a little bit of articulation there. I can force it. So he does have an ab crunch. Of course, you got the knees a little about there, and the feet swivel from side to side, but they don't go up and down very much. So you got the down, but there's no up. So you can get them in some pretty dynamic poses. His hand came off, which of course is a thing with these guys. But just stick it back in there, you're good. You get several accessories with the figure, which I'm going to go into. So of course you got this rifle, which came with a few Snake Eyes from around this era of G.I. Joe. I have this rifle probably twice over in my personal collection, and I'll get to those Snake Eyes as well. Those Snake Eyes were actually from the movie, from the Rise of Cobra line, previous to Pursuit of Cobra, which I guess I should explain. Pursuit of Cobra. Pursuit of Cobra was like in between movies, so they they did the Rise of Cobra figures, but they kept, you know, once the movie was over, they kept selling Joes. And since there was no movie out, they just renamed the line to Pursuit of Cobra, and there were a lot of really cool figures in that line. So there's the gun. He also comes with these climbing shoes, which you can peg into his feet, like so. He was sort of like doing like either parachuting and mountaineering, climbing the scaling buildings. And the one of the accessories that's missing is part of that. So of course he has this belt, and he has a shoulder harness, a backpack, a sword, and of course the scabbard for the sword, which is a separate piece that connects to the belt. And then he came also with a pistol, and he came with kind of like a parachute thing. So I'll show the pistol here, and then we'll show the parachute here. So there you go. Pistol and parachute are the things that are missing. Again, this figure was not supremely easy to find when it was out. My recollection of the figure is I might have seen it in the store once, and I didn't buy it. This figure came out timeline-wise after I had my first child, my oldest daughter, and I wasn't buying quite as many action figures at that time. Timeline-wise, I was probably pre Transformers Masterpiece for me even. So yeah, I wasn't really buying a bunch of action figures, stuff here and there, mainly Darth Vader's at that time, Luke Skywalker's. And the climbing shoes don't make it all that much easier for him to stand, unfortunately. And a lot of times you get that with these guys. You know, as somebody put it, they articulate, but they don't articulate well. Somebody had sort of like a meme about it, but it's a good looking figure, and very nice version of Snake Eyes. They did use this body on a couple of other versions, and they used the head on at least one other version, but most of the time they changed the head. So but I always particularly like this figure because I like the mask. In addition to the rest of it, kind of got their little shoulder things on. This is like a lot of kind of a very early classified-ish kind of look, and I was always appreciative of it, for sure. So let's do this. So when the gun don't work, we can always have Snake Eyes move to the sword. There we go. There we go. And when he's done scaling the buildings, he can maybe kick somebody in the face with these and shed them. There we go. Snake Eyes. City Strike. So it's a very cool figure. You know, I'm doing this Snake Eyes series because I have a lot of Snake Eyes in my collection, and I love my Snake Eyes figures. As I've said a couple of times in the G.I. Joe Classified reviews I've done, that, you know, he's unabashedly my favorite character in G.I. Joe. Always has been, always will be. And so if there's a character from G.I. Joe that's going to get the vast amount of the attention, it's going to be him. I thought this was a good way to get into some other figures, 4-inch, 3 3/4 inch figures. You know, do some reviews on some older stuff. So, I mean, in a way, he counts as a retro review, and he's also a Silent Warrior series. So, you know, he's hitting on a bunch of levels, and it's Snake Eyes, and I am always very happy to handle a Snake Eyes action figure. So, way I got a figure rank, I'm going to give this figure a 7 out of 10. Now, granted, that's kind of low for what I normally do. He's probably an 8 or something like that, but this isn't a modern figure, and you know, it's an older figure, and even if, honestly, I probably would give him a 7 anyway, just because, you know, it's difficult to make him stand. It's not easy to, you know, it's not easy to manipulate. The real American Hero figures were usually easier to stand, even though they had a rubber band holding them up. Usually easier to just kind of play around with. Although that's easy to put to the test too, as you will soon see. So I'm gonna hit him at a 7. 7 isn't bad. It's not spectacular. It's not unworthy. But it, you know, it's an honest assessment of a figure. Going by today's standards is not the best, right? And there are better versions of Snake Eyes at 4 inches that would get a higher rating. I can tell you that right now. So, yeah, I'm good with a 7. So I'm going to leave it there. And I'm probably going to do one Snake Eyes review per week. Since it's kind of slow on the acquisition of new stuff. Not to say that there aren't plenty of new things coming down the pipe here. But, you know, it gives me a chance to review some figures and play around with some stuff I haven't messed around with in a while. So there's always that too. If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you are not new to the channel, please like and leave a comment. Hit notifications so you're aware of when I do a new video. And I will see everybody on the next one. Till then, hug your loved ones and stay safe. Peace.